So last year, right about this time, I shared a message about building your spiritual foundation. And I shared about how Reverend Jay, our founder of the Home Spiritual Center, taught about hiring our spirit guides or our spirit teachers. And today I want to share a little bit of what resonated with me and just a little bit from the book, Jason's book. So many of us not only believe in spirit guides and spirit teachers, but we also have cultivated and developed and nurtured a relationship with them, with our guides and our teachers. Maybe this is a spirit that we've known here in this lifetime. Maybe it's an ancestor that's been around to offer support. Maybe it's a spirit that has been with us for many lifetimes. And these spiritual beings are of the highest truth and the highest light and the highest compassion and the highest love. And they're working in our behalf to guide us. So Reverend Jay used the term spirit teachers. And he believed that they like reach across that barrier between the spiritual and the physical realms. And they offer support and guidance and knowledge for those of us that are in need of that wisdom. And these spiritual beings come in many forms. They have different purposes, but they all have a common goal, and that's to assist us and to support us. So, like many of you probably, I believe that we have a team of guides that collaborate in different areas of our life. I have a dear friend, and she calls it the committee. It's the committee. So, and that might be around our spirituality. Maybe it's around our relationships. Maybe it's around social aspects of our lives or our careers. And we can call on them for guidance in these particular areas of our life. And I've shared this before, and I think I'm channeling Jay because I'm repeating stuff. But anyway, I've shared this before. When I first came to the Home Spiritual Center, that was the first time I had heard the concept of hiring a guide or a teacher. And I was struggling in a class in my psychology program, like really struggling. And it was statistical psychology or statistics in psychology. And I joke about it was so traumatic that I can't even remember the name of the class. But I thought, well, maybe I'll give it a shot. You know, what do I have to lose? And I literally said, okay, if there's a statistician on the other side that is willing to help me, I'm hiring you. Just put my face in it. And I passed the class. And so, yeah, so thanks. So I really began to build my faith around partnering with my guides or my teachers. And I'm using the word partnering because that comes from a conversation that Reverend Kendra and I had about partnering. I was calling it hiring, and she said, I feel like it's partnering. And so I decided to practice this in other areas of my life. And as I learned or I put this knowledge to work in my life, I grew and new teachers began to show up. And Reverend Jay talks about that in his book. He talks about going from grade to grade or from class to class in school. And each teacher that we've had is unique and knowledgeable in that specific grade or that specific class. And then we move on to the next level or we graduate to the higher levels. And so he says, graduating with the highest degree in a field compares to being able to access universal wisdom directly with no further need for an interpreter. And then we can teach those with lesser knowledge so that they're the professionals, right? They're the professionals. And then it reminds me of a story that I heard some time ago. There was a little girl and she was home alone and she was ill. And she called her mom at work and said, Mama, I need you. I need you to come home. I need some medicine. And so the mom rushes out of work. She goes to the local drugstore to get some medicine. And it started raining really heavily. So she ran inside. She thought, I'm just going to be in and out really quick. Well, she gets back out to her car and she realizes she's locked her keys in the car. And so she ran back inside the store and she was asking the employees, hey, can somebody help me? And they were not very helpful, but one of them gave her a coat hanger and said, good luck. So she went back outside and she's frantically trying to unlock her car. And the rain, it just keeps coming and coming and coming. And she looked up and she said, okay, God, I need your help and I need it now. And she saw an old pickup truck pull up next to her. And she saw a man approaching her and he was kind of dirty. had a do-rag, some tattoos, and some scars. Maybe a what she would call a shady character. And without much thought, she embraced him and she said, "Sir, could you possibly help me? I have my little girl's at home. She's alone. I have this medicine. I need to get it to her. I've locked my keys in the car." And then within a few minutes, he was able to unlock the car. And out of joy, she grabbed him again, like, "Thank you, thank you. And you're such a nice man. Thank you." And he kind of pushed her away. And he's like, "No, ma'am, I'm not. You see, I've just escaped from prison. And I steal cars for a living." So without any hesitation, she looks up to the heavens and she says, "Thank you, God, for sending a professional." So I thought that was so sweet. Yeah. So so again, we do have more than one spirit guide. So some of us believe that we have one from birth to death, our entire lifetime, and some of us believe that we have some that come in for a season of our lifetime. Now, there are spirit beings that are not of pure light and pure love. They don't have those intentions, and they may have motivations that aren't of assistance. So they may no longer have a physical body, but they may have those physical desires or those physical pleasures or experiences. And just because they don't have a physical body doesn't mean that they have attained some sort of divine knowledge. They still have a desire to feed their ego. So there's an expectation for humans to give something in return for that assistance or that attention. It's like payment for services rendered. But truly benevolent guides or spirit teachers, they impart that wisdom and that knowledge and that assistance. And the students' progress is their reward. So again, we can ask for specific assistance for an appropriate spirit teacher when we're struggling with something, a situation or an issue or an experience. And if we attract a teacher that we can't relate to, or maybe we don't align with, we can ask them to politely withdraw to allow for a more appropriate teacher to come in. So it's not really like firing them, but I had the CEO at the agency I worked at before, previously, he used to say, "Take their graces to other places." So what do they get out of it? Well, how do we feel when we're able to be helpful to someone, or we're able to contribute to someone else's life, or we're able to help them solve a problem? It feels pretty good, right? A benevolent spirit teacher does their work in order to contribute towards the greatest possible growth for individuals and therefore humanity as a whole. Just like us in physical form, their contributions promote healing and happiness and harmony for all. They're the champions of our causes. They're like that compass when they're offering alternate directions when we kind of feel stuck in traffic. They want us to win. And those spirit beings continue to acquire that wisdom and that knowledge and are learning through our implementations of their ideas or their guidance. So they're continuing their own soul evolution. So how do we connect with our spirit guides or our spirit teachers? Well, I believe it starts with an invitation, getting in that habit of asking, right? And there's times when I forget to ask for assistance and I want to rely on my own strength, maybe, or maybe I'm in a little bit of victim mentality and I want to suffer a little bit. My daughter and I have this saying where we say, "I do it my own self." So sometimes I want to do it my own self and I forget that I can ask. I had a spiritual teacher once and we were talking about guides and teachers. And I said, "Well, why do I need to ask them for help? Why don't I just pray to God? Why don't I just ask God?" And she said, "God's busy. Even the divine could use some help." So Reverend Jay taught us to sit in meditation and to think about what it is that we need or that we want or what our goal is. And then we ask that spirit teacher, that appropriate spirit teacher, to join us. The best, the most knowledgeable, the expert, that professional, to share their guidance and their knowledge with us on how we can achieve that goal or what we're asking for. And I offer a little prayer first, asking for only benevolent teachers, those that are in the highest truth and in that pure divine light. And I do try to remember I don't always have to have an issue or a struggle or a problem to be able to connect. So in meditation, we can notice those subtle sensations that happen in our body. Maybe we feel a sense of calm or love wash over us. Maybe we have an idea or an inspiration that comes to mind. Or we feel some sort of energy that's different than our own, maybe. Or we see a specific color. And then we simply listen. We just slow down, allowing our vibration to align with the presence of our guides. And when we attune our energy to that frequency of peace and love, we can find it easy to connect and to really receive those vibrational messages. And there's meditations that you can listen to, guided meditations. And I know some of us teach that in Reiki trainings. We teach that. Kendra teaches that in her clairvoyance trainings. And I'm sure that many of you have methods that work for you. And we can ask for signs, because our guides are playful and they like to let us know that they're around, that they're present. And when we ask for a sign, it means that we're willing to collaborate with them, with the universe, to partner. And some choose a specific symbol or a specific sign for that confirmation. Or others notice things when they're asking. Maybe it's an animal or a song. Maybe it's repeating numbers. A lot of us see those numbers that come in. Anything that holds meaning to us. And we don't have to hunt or search for it. We just need to be open to receive it. And someone that I was working with recently, and they were feeling really disappointed that they hadn't felt their loved ones presence who had just transitioned. They weren't feeling them around them. And she said, I just want a sign. I just want a sign. And so I said, well, what question are you asking, or questions do you have? And she shared with me what she was curious about in relation to her loved one. And I got to share and put these teachings into direct practice, sharing that we can ask for a particular sign or ask for our awareness to be brought around to those, or brought to those signs. And all of a sudden, she almost like leapt out of her seat, and she was remembering, bringing her awareness to that she had been receiving signs, songs on the radio, the scent of her loved one, repeating numbers, certain numbers she was seeing, and a few other things. So it may be a little bit different than asking our guides for signs, but I really feel like it's relevant. And it's a reminder to be aware, to bring our awareness to that, to pay attention to the guidance that we're receiving. Because it's one thing to ask for guidance, but it's another thing to witness it, right? Sometimes we're like, how come I can't get the help? And then all these signs are flying at you. You're like, nope, not that one, not that one. So when we pay attention to what we're receiving, it allows us to be in that awe and in that wonder of all that amazing support and love that's around us. And sometimes our guidance shows up in impressive or pretty unexpected ways. Maybe it's a street sign or a billboard or songs on our playlist that keep repeating, or somebody saying to you exactly what you need to hear in that moment. Because they often do work through other people. They communicate through our intuition. So when we get that sudden inspiration or an idea or an insight, some of us call it downloads, and we're like, whoa, all the information's coming in, or we get that solution to a problem. Or when we feel guided to take action with something that doesn't seem logical, we have to kind of put our faith in it and go, okay, Spirit, I'm going to do it. So trust your intuition. And when we feel those physical sensations, maybe tingling in our body, or maybe it's a sense of warmth in a certain area of our body, or goosebumps, some of us call them truth bumps. And when we all experience receiving those messages from our guides in unique ways, what's perfect for us individually. And we can remember that we're already connected to our spirit guides and our spirit teachers or helpers. But these signs help us feel that validation of the connection. So, what if you don't feel connected to your guides or your teachers? Is it that you're maybe putting a little bit or a lot of it of pressure on yourself to receive some big, like life altering, earth shattering message? Or maybe that confirmation needs to look or feel a certain way? I know when I start to feel this way, I just have to remind myself to chill out. I don't use exactly those words because we're in church, but I'm like, Jennifer, chill out. Just chill out. And I have to lighten my energy. And often, like, I'll play music and I'll just have like a solo dance party and just wiggle it all out, booty shake it all out. And someone shared with me when that happens to try being more playful and to do more things that bring me joy, have more of that childlike energy. Because children are connected to their guides. They feel them, they see them. Sometimes my grandson's always talking to someone. Blah, 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 blah. And, they say about the age of 7 is when that veil starts to close and we shut down that connection, or maybe that connection is shut down for us. So by being more childlike, we can lift that veil. So have fun, be joyful, do the dance parties. We just did a dance party yesterday and it was great. Tatiana's workshop. It was a lot of fun. We got to be childlike. It was really fun and energizing. So when we're aware or begin to recognize these signs or these messages, it's really essential to give acknowledgement and gratitude to our helpers. We can say thank you or give a little smile. I have a friend that when something comes in, she does like this wink thing. She's like winks and like, good job, buddy, kind of like letting them know that we received the message and that we're grateful for that connection. So thank you, guides, for inspiration. Thank you for helping me feel that sense of calm. Thank you for helping me find that solution to the problem. And our gratitude keeps our relationships strong, and it keeps them close by because they feel like they're welcome and they feel that we are willing. So when we offer that appreciation and that gratitude, it just circulates right back. It's kind of like a boomerang. It's just like, we throw it out, it comes right back. Throw it out, it comes right back. So our teachers and our guides, just like spirit, are loving and wise, and they want to bring us to the best possible, highest experience of assistance. And when our human selves get in the way, we try to control situations, or maybe we become or try we're firm in the way that it should go. Maybe we're manipulating outcomes of what we think is best. We can significantly decrease that awareness. So when we can surrender and trust that there is a greater plan than ours, that's when we can truly feel like we are being led to that next right action in our lives. We can come into that true co-creation or that partnering, and when we release those outcomes. So trust in your own abilities to connect. Trust in your own intuition. Trust in your own psychic abilities. Knowing that our guides are always present, and they're always loving us, they're always supporting us, they're always guiding us. And I'd like to close with a parable, and probably many of you have heard this before. It's a story of a man who was a firm believer of God. And one day it began to rain very heavily, and it kept raining, and a big flood came. And the man climbed up on his roof of his house. And he knew he'd be okay. He said, God will protect me. Well, it kept raining, and now the water had reached his waist. And a boat came by. And a guy in the boat said, hey, jump in. We'll take you with us. And he's like, no, thanks. I'm a firm believer in God. He'll rescue me. And the boat went away. Well, it kept on raining, and now the water had reached his neck. And another boat came by, and the guy in the boat said, you look like you could use some help. Jump in and we'll take you with us. No, said the man, I'm a firm believer in God. He'll rescue me. Don't worry about me. And the boat sailed away. Well, it still rained, continued to rain, and now the water reached his mouth. And a helicopter came by, And the guy in the helicopter threw a rope down and he said, "Hello, my friend. Climb up. We'll rescue you." And the man said, "No, I'm a firm believer in God. He will rescue me. I know he will." And the helicopter flew away. Well, it kept on raining and the man drowned. So when the man died, he went to heaven. And when entering heaven, he had an interview with God. And after giving a polite greeting and sitting down, the man asked, "Where were you? I waited and I waited. I was sure that you were going to rescue me, as I've been a firm believer in you all of my life and have done good, only good for others. So where were you when I needed you?" And God scratched his confused looking face and answered, "I don't get it either. I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter." So, to me, that's just a beautiful reminder that the signs of help and guidance don't always come as some big event of some kind, that they may just come in those small little signs of help here and there along the way. So, with that, I'd like to just take a moment or so and lead us into a meditation. And so, just adjusting yourself in your seat. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes if that feels right for you. Taking a nice deep breath in and release. Connecting your feet to the earth. And with a breath, drawing up that earth energy up through your body, all the way up to your crown. And just release. And I invite you to open up your crown chakra, the area right above your head. Opening that up, taking a deep breath in, pulling in that divine light and that divine guidance in, allowing it to wash over you, feeling that sense of warmth and that sense of love, and allowing it to just carry with it, washing away any of those things that don't serve you. Doubt, fear, shame, whatever it is, and just allowing it to come down through your feet gently, and returning it to Mother Earth, knowing that she will use it, recycle it, and use it and create something else with that potential energy. And just knowing that we all have that guidance, and that we can trust in our intuition, and we can bring those things to God, to our spirit guides. We can bring all of that intensity, just like the song, because God, our guides, have the space. And just trusting in that connection and in our own deep knowing, our own deep remembering that we are held in that light and that love, and always supported. And we find that space within us to sit quietly and listen to those messages and see those signs and invite them into our lives. And just feeling that sense of calm and that sense of peace as you connect back into your chair. Maybe doing another inhale and exhale. Bringing yourself back into this room, back into this time and space. When you're ready, you can rub your hands together, wiggle your toes, just open your eyes gently. Thank you. Now, where am I at? Sometimes I do that. I get into meditation and I just lose it. So, okay, I'll invite Dick back up to do our closing prayer.